In this video, we will go through the integer rules as a review of what you learned in 7th grade. So, to start with, let's start with adding integers. And remember, integers are your positive and negative whole numbers. So it is working more with the negative numbers. So let's say that we're given an addition problem and they have the same sign. So you have a negative plus a negative, or a positive plus a positive. So if it's the same sign, then all we're going to do is we're going to add those numbers together and we're going to keep the sign that's already in the problem. So if it's a negative problem, we will have a negative answer. If it's a positive problem, we'll have a positive answer. Well, what about if they're different signs? Then what do we do? Okay? If it's different signs, you are going to subtract the numbers and you will keep the sign of the bigger number. So that means you're going to ignore everything but the two numbers, subtract them like you would subtract a normal subtraction problem, and then keep the sign of the bigger number for our answer. So let's look at some examples. So the first one we have is -9 plus -2. So first you have to ask yourself, are they the same sign or are they different? Well, the 9 is negative and the 2 is negative. So those have the same sign. So I add, so 9 plus 2 is 11. And I keep the sign that's already in the problem, so that means that's going to be a -11. The next one, we have 10 plus a -15. So this time, they're different signs. So we have to subtract. Well, remember when you learned to subtract numbers, you always took the smaller number from the bigger number. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to take 15 minus 10, which is 5. Let's see, this was different signs. And then I need to keep the sign of the bigger number. Well, which number is bigger? Is 10 or 15 larger? Well, 15 is the bigger number, so it's going to be a -5. Okay, -4 plus 12. Again, I look, one's negative, one's positive, so the signs are different. And I subtract. Well, again, I would normally take 12 minus 4. Take the smaller number from the bigger number. Well, 12 minus 4 is 8. And then I need to keep the sign of the bigger number. Well, look, which number is bigger, 4 or 12? Would you rather have $4 or $12? You'd rather have 12, so it stays a positive answer. And then -7 plus -10, those have the same sign. They're both negative, so we're going to add those. So 7 plus 10 is 17. Both numbers are negative, so our answer will also be negative. Okay, subtracting integers. So this time, there's something you have to do first. You have to cross the line. So we're going to change it to an addition problem. We cross the subtraction line to change it to addition, and then we change the sign, and we're going to add something of the second number. You only change the sign of the second number. And then you have to follow your addition rules that we just talked about. So once it's an addition problem, you follow those same rules from before. So if it's the same sign, remember you add and keep the sign that's in the problem. If they're different signs, you're going to subtract and keep the sign of the bigger number. So those stay the same. Those rules are the same. We just have to cross the line and change the sign of the second number first. So if we look at -5 plus -5 minus a -30. So if I cross the line, I'm going to change that subtraction to addition. And then I need to change the sign of the second number. So instead of a -3, it's going to change to a positive. Now I could rewrite that as -5 plus 3. If you like it written a little bit more simple. So then I look, and they're different signs. So that means I need to subtract. So 5 minus 3 is 2, and I keep the sign of the bigger number. 5 is bigger than 3, so it's going to be a -2. Next, we have 10 minus a -6. So again, you can cross the line to change it to addition, and then you're going to change the sign of the second number. So -6 becomes a +6, which you could just rewrite as 10 plus 6. Well, that looks like the addition problems that we've been doing forever since we first learned to add. And 10 plus 6, they're both positive. So we add them together. 10 plus 6 is 16. Both of those numbers were positive, so my answer is positive. Next one, -2 minus 7. So I cross the line, and I change the sign. Right now, that 7, is it positive or negative? Positive. So we need to change it to a -7. And then we can rewrite it, if that helps. And then when I look, they now have the same sign. Both numbers are negative. So I add 2 plus 7, which is 9. And I keep the sign that's already in the problem, which is negative. So my final answer is -9. And finally, we have -5 minus 8. So again, we're going to cross the line. So it changes to an addition problem. And change the sign of the second number. So that 8 is going to change to a -8. And then I like to rewrite it as -5 plus -8. And they have the same sign. So we're going to add, we're going to take 5 plus 8, which is 13. And both numbers are negative, so our answer should also be negative. And finally, let's review multiplying and dividing integers. Remember, if you remember, the rule is the same no matter if you're multiplying or dividing. And this rule is a lot shorter than the others. So basically it comes down to, do they have the same sign or are they opposite signs or different? So if they're the same sign, remember that when you're multiplying or dividing two integers, if they're both negative or both positive, your answer will always be positive. If it's opposite signs, that means you have one positive and one negative, your answer will always be negative. Okay, let's look at a couple multiplication problems. Now, I use parentheses for multiplication. Remember that you can use the little dot. We don't really want to use that X anymore. You want to use that little dot, or you can wrap it in parentheses like I do. So that first one, we have -2 times -3. So multiply like normal. What's 2 times 3? 6. Now, do those have the same signs or opposite signs or different? They're both negative, right? So that means our answer is a positive 6. Because same signs equal a positive answer. The next one, we have 4 times -5. Multiply like normal. What's 4 times 5? That's 20. Different signs, because the 4 is positive and the 5 is negative. So this becomes a -20. Okay, and looking at a couple of division ones. Division, now that we're getting into the swing of more algebra, division, you're going to see more like a fraction. and no longer using that division symbol that we're used to. So this is saying 45 divided by negative 5. So divide like normal. What's 45 divided by 5? Or how many times does 5 go into 45? It goes in 9 times. And opposite signs, 45 is positive, the 5 is negative, so that means our answer will also be negative. And then we have negative 12 divided by negative 4, same signs, so our answer will be positive, and then just divide like normal. What's 12 divided by 4? Or how many times does 4 go into 12? Well, that is 3. And it stays positive because the signs are the same. So, integer rule review from 7th grade. Okay. If you have questions, don't forget to ask, and you are ready to complete your practice.